So populate this, short cable lengths, test them in there. That'll be what's next. I shall see you in a minute when I've done that. Or what's more likely is I'll tell you in 30 seconds that I've got a problem with something, which seems to be happening quite a lot more than I had hoped. Anyway, on with the build. I'll tell you what, as I sit here doing all these blooming connectors, I wish I hadn't cut the ends off until I tested it. Because now I have to put connectors on just to test it, and then when I've tested it, I'll end up probably cutting them off and doing them again. So yeah, tip for the future. Don't cut off the ends of cables that could be useful until you actually know that it all works. So as always, the problems are coming thick and fast. So obviously I'm midway through wiring up the control board here, and we're coming across a couple of issues. Firstly, well, everything. No. So apart from the problem of me cutting off all the ends, things like the pin probe don't have a specific input on this control board. So you have to split the pins from one thing to another. Now the official kit comes with an adapter, which it doesn't tell you about on the website. It's just pin to probe, and the pin to probe comes with this kit. Unfortunately, I don't have the kit, so I have to try and make do. Now, it's fine being able to just take a pin out and put it in another connector. However, because the connectors on the board that this has to go into now is a 3-pin and a 2-pin, well, only one wire, but a 2-pin. The 2-pin's fine, but you can't put a 4-pin connector into a 3-pin socket. So, and even if you cut like one of the pins out, just like hack it off, the whole kind of securing mechanism just doesn't work. It all just completely misaligns, and that's a bit of an issue. So I don't really want to be waiting to buy some connectors just for doing this. But I don't think I have any other options. I literally have no 3-pin connectors for anything. Everything's either 2s or 4s. 2s or 4s. I can maybe use some single connectors, but that just seems a bit of a dirty hack. I'd rather just use the right connectors. It's so frustrating to have like these very little things just get massively in the way. So yeah, that's the thing. Right, I'm gonna have a think and I'll let you know what I think of. Seeing as we're only doing testing at the moment, it's obviously not critical that we have exactly the right connectors. So what I've got here is a bunch of like the ribbon connectors, which have a male on one end and female on the other, female and male end. So I can use these to just divert from the connectors we've got into the ones that are on the board. And I'm going to order a set of connectors that will work with this, and hopefully we'll get those pretty soon. But for now, I hate that phrase, for now this will do. But for now, this will have to do because it's all I've got. Okie dokie, let's get on with setting these, connecting this up using these new connectors we've acquired. Hopefully we'll have everything we need now to at least get this working. Let's carry on. So we're getting along really quite well. Everything's all wired in. just got the little laptop, well, tablet out to do a bit of a firmware upgrade because we've got to obviously change it to the Mk2.5s firmware. Got this kind of set to the bed. I've done some rough calibration. It's like pre-flight check things to make sure that the nozzle doesn't hit the bed, set the pin to height, etc. I just got round to doing the firmware and realised that I need to obviously power it up. And then I went to look at the screen and it wasn't there, so I've plugged the LCD in. And now there's this one little problem that I get when I turn it on. See if you can notice what it is. Yeah, that. It's pretty annoying, and clearly there's something wired incorrectly. So I'm going to find out what that is, and yeah. So despite the fact my ears have been bleeding for literally several minutes because of that continuous high-pitched beep, I have actually managed to update the firmware to the Mk2.5s, and now it seems to have stopped beeping. So presumably the beeping was to tell me that something is plugged in that shouldn't be, because I did the upgrade. Yes, that was a pretty annoying beep for such a minor little error. Anyway, it's flashed, so we can remove this. That's all happy days. So now let's do a little bit of calibration, maybe? Let's run this wizard. Hi, I'm your new Prusa Mk2s. Would you want to throw through? First, I'll run through self-test to check most common assembly problems. Self-test start. Excellent, that's a great start. Right, looks like we're going to have some assembly issues here. Okay, so it's not quite working correctly. It's not even past the very first part of the self-test, so clearly there's something wrong. Presumably it's something in this bundle of cables. There's something going to something that shouldn't be, so the fan doesn't spin. Yeah, so that's a thing. Excellent. To get around that, I'm going to go to bed. It's pretty late, I've got a headache, and I'm pretty tired. So I'm going to try this another day. We're pretty close. I'm happy with the progress I made today. Having done all this in one day, that's worked pretty well. Was it one day? No, I started yesterday. Oh, okay. So hopefully we'll finish it later in the week. But for now, good night. Right, so it's a couple of days later and some things have changed. Like my hair, for example. Continuity, eh? Anyway, so the electronics, which I was having a little bit of a problem with, I think I've now sorted. The problem was the fan wiring, well, for both fans was just totally wrong. Both the wrong way around. Two's in one place, one's in the other. It was just wrong in all conceivable ways. I blame the instructions for that because I don't think they were hugely clear. I suppose they would have been more clear if I had the actual little adapters that you need for the 3-pin fan, because then I wouldn't have got them around the wrong way because the connectors would have only got... Anyway, doesn't really matter too much. It is now sorted, I think. Now, the carriage is all the way up the top because I started doing the the whole wizard just to check everything was working. And so, obviously, part of that is doing the Z calibration, or Z calibration, sorry. And to do that, it does the same kind of thing that the Mk3 does, although it doesn't have the stall guard thing and doesn't just ramp all the way up to the top. It kind of goes up slowly, and then you have to press it. You do the twirly thing, and you press it when it... Anyway, so we only got this far because we still have this screw in here that needs replacing. Basically what I did, I moved the carriage up and then just rammed straight into the screw, and then it jammed, and it wasn't particularly good. So yeah, not great. But I have ordered some screws. They should be coming pretty soon. In the meantime, I'm pretty tempted to get one of those longer ones that I had and just take a junior hacksaw and just cut the end off, because I only need one to be able to do this calibration. I'm pretty sure it doesn't calibrate all the way up to that end when it's at the top. It's just because the wizard moves over here and then does that, so it's always going to be it's slightly annoying. Anyway, it shouldn't be too much of a problem as long as we... I mean, in the long run, we'll have screws. It'll be absolutely fine. But for now, I'm going to hack apart a small screw. Well, small screw, ironically, that was too long, and fix this. So I will be back when I've done that. Okie dokie. So that was a bit of a racket, and now I've got a very hot screw, which I don't want to touch the end of, but I've cut it down to about 20 mil, which is going to be the length that I'll end up with once I get the proper ones through. So that should, hopefully, nearly perfectly fit. Now, I don't want to just take that top one out without putting anything else in, so I'm just going to replace one of the other lower down screws, and then we can place the one further up once this is in and holding everything strongly together. Okay, so as you can see, that little black, oh, I need to take this one out. Oh, what a fool. So the black one in the top is now in, so I can just run the calibration again, and hopefully we'll get a total pass this time. I'm interested to see how close everything is to parallel. Ooh, that was, shouldn't have done that, dropping the screw near the control board. Yeah, I'm interested to see how close it is to all parallel and not skewed, because I've not really done any calibration of that kind at all. It's quite noisy. It's less noisy when it doesn't touch the desk, which means nearly all the noise is due to vibration through the feet and the table, which is sort of good in a way. I wonder if the stepper motors are... No. Why do they not? It should go higher than that. I'm sure it should go higher than that. There's this gap up here. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to tap against that. But I cannot see for the life of me what is stopping the motion here. As far as I can see, there's plenty of room to continue moving. Clearly it's not working quite right. I'm going to just, having powered it off, I'm going to try and do the calibration kind of manually, if you like, just to check that I can get it all up to the top and align it to where it's supposed to go, and then we'll do it with the proper process and actually set those values. Right. So that's it from me today on the Mk2s upgrade build. For now, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more. If you want to support the channel, Patreon is a great way to do that. There'll be a link in the description. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram for more behind the scenes and stuff like that, and I will see you in the next one.